Oi! Yes! Here we go, you guys. Day 2 in a row of Balls Deep breakdowns with your host, Uncle Weezy. We're back. UFC Vegas 46. We have got 11 fights on this card. The one that we're going to be breaking down tonight is going to be Dakota Harry Bush going up against Viacheslav, Slava Claus, Borshchev. This man that I got right here for you is a incredible striker, and then my man Harry Bush can wrestle really well. I hope everybody's doing really well tonight. I can't wait to break this down with you guys. I'm going to check and see if my guy Smooth Jimmy is ready to go here. I don't know if he's out of hair and makeup because I can't even get my hair and makeup people here to take care of this mop on my head. So let's see if they got Jimmy ready to go over here and up. Yeah, beautiful. Sweet. We're in business, everybody. You guys, it's Monday night. Not usually doing Balls Deep breakdowns on Monday night, but here we are. We have got Just the Tip tomorrow night. We've got the DFS show on Pub Sports Radio on Wednesday. And we've got all you guys in here ready with me to break down this fight. Let's talk to you guys for a second here. We've got Jeremiah Nicola in the room saying, my, oh my, have I been waiting? How we been, Weezy? We've been doing pretty good, man. Had a nice little time off over the month that we were without the UFC. Had a birthday on New Year's Day, Christmas, did all that great stuff. Got away from watching fights for a little bit, but now we're back. I'm going hard in the paint on my channel this week, dude. I want to get to 1,000 subscribers before UFC 270 next week. And I want to break down this card because it's been too long. I'm chomping at the bit to bet on some fights, to watch some fights, to break down some fights with you guys. So I'm doing 4 Balls Deep breakdowns and Just the Tip this week, in addition to Stat Diggers, all the content on Pub Sports Radio, and the main event deep dive that my man DFS by the Numbers and I did earlier today on his channel. The link to that is also in the description of this video. And speaking of DFS by the Numbers, oi! Yes, he is hanging out in here with us. Good to see you, Brady. We got Marco Puzo in here saying, "Sup, Uncle? Glad to be back at it, brother. It's really good to have you here with us, Mark. Can't wait to break down this fight with you guys." We got my guy Chris saying, "Oi!" Personally, I'm not fond of the Harry Bush. Hey, man, we've all got our preferences. I think Dakota might be a fan of it, but you never know. I'm not going to put words in his mouth because I haven't heard it straight from the horse's mouth there. So, but you never know, man. We'll see what these guys, what we do know is what these guys have been doing in the cage. And we're going to go into that in detail tonight, you guys. And Mark saying, be back at it. And I knew what you meant, brother. We got Lucas in the room saying, LOL. What's up, Lucas? Good to see you in here. We got Paul saying, oi. What's up? We got Zero saying, oi. And we need DFS by the Numbers saying we need a Collier versus Sherman comedy special. We'll have to see if I can come up with some material for that, because that would actually be really, really funny. We got Daz Files saying 24 to go. We got the final lap here till I'm to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you, Daz Files. Thank you for hanging out. Appreciate it. We got Chris saying, laughing my ass off. That would be a funny fight. Chase Sherman makes me facepalm, but Collier isn't great either. Yeah, man. But between the two of them, they're 2 of the lower level heavyweights that we have here in the UFC. But it should still be a pretty fun scrap. Both those guys throw down. Collier's got pretty fast hands, and Sherman's got a good amount of power and some nasty leg kicks. So, it might be a really entertaining fight, like a lot of the other ones on this card. A lot of the fights on this card aren't high level names, but they do promise to be some pretty exciting fights. So I'm looking forward to watching this card. It's been too long, you guys. I'm really chomping at the bit to be there on a Saturday on my couch watching these fights. So yeah, it's I'm having a little bit of withdrawal, so to speak. And we got Gargantua in the room saying, sharpen up those razors. We got asses to shave this weekend finally. It's been too damn long, and it's been hard finding an ass shaving of the week, but I've pared it down to about 3, and I'll be casting my lot tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Central on Just the Tip with Uncle Weezy right here on this YouTube channel, you guys. So I will let you know the ass shaving of the week tomorrow night. Can't wait to share it with you guys. Gargantua, thanks for hanging out, brother. Appreciate it. And Chris is saying, I don't need any dental floss during fun time. I wish I had read that comment before I started actually reading it on the air so that I could prepare not to laugh. DXJC, you can't have a nickname like that and not live up to it. That's true. And Chris saying, Sherman keeps that head up high when striking. Recipe for disaster in heavyweight. Yeah, and he's 3-7 in the UFC. He definitely is a killer be killed fighter. He's definitely tough, but man, 94% finish rate for Chase Sherman on the offensive end. So, yeah, chin high. But you know what? I'm high. Smooth Jimmy's ready. And we're high on the UFC. We're high on making money on gambling on the UFC. So let's get high on some statistics here and go in to all of the stats here for Viacheslav Borshchev versus Dakota Bush. So let's see, we got that up on the screen. We're going to zoom into these stats so that you guys can see them really clear like. And there we go. Let's start with the tail of the tape, you guys. We're going to start with Dakota Bush, 27 years old, 3 years younger than Viacheslav Borshchev, who is 30. It's Viacheslav with a 1-inch height advantage and Dakota with a 4-inch reach advantage. Both of these guys are orthodox fighters. Dakota, as far as I know, was fighting out of the Smith Pit. I don't know if he is still at the Smith Pit, but that's the most recent information that was available on SureDog.com. If any of you guys in the chat know where Dakota Bush is training now, if it's not the Smith Pit, please let me know. But I do know that Slava Claus has been training at Alpha Male ever since he came to this country. And it was Alpha Male's head man over there, Uriah Faber, who gave him that nickname, Slava Claus. And so if we go to the pro experience here, you guys, we see that, Dakota Bush is going to have that 4-inch reach advantage and be 3 years younger. It's Dakota Bush who's a more experienced mixed martial artist here with 11 professional fights to Borshchev's 6 and twice as much time in the pro cage for Dakota Bush with 100 minutes in there. And Borshchev has got 48. The average fight time below 10 minutes for both of them. And it's a 6-year pro career for Dakota Bush and an under 3-year pro mixed martial arts career for Borshchev. However, Borshchev was a professional kickboxer, had at least 200 professional kickboxing bouts to his credit before making the switch to MMA. So even though Borshchev doesn't have as many minutes in the cage as a mixed martial artist, he probably has way more experience in combat sports as a whole than Dakota Bush. And both of these guys have one UFC level fight. Dakota Bush fought Austin Hubbard. That was a true UFC fight, while the Borshchev fight was against Chris Duncan on the Dana White Contender Series. Dakota Bush saw the scorecards against Hubbard, while Borshchev finished his fight early in the second round. And yeah, average fight time is the amount of time that they fought. So, and we go to the finish stats here, and we see that Dakota Bush, in his 8 wins, we've got a 50% sub rate, a 25% knockout rate, so a 75% finish rate as a whole for Dakota Bush, 4 by submission, 2 by knockout, and he has never been finished in any of his 3 professional losses. And Viacheslav has a 80% finish rate, 4 wins by knockout, 1 by decision, and in Viacheslav's only career loss, it was by decision. So, we're going to get into the striking stats here after I talk to you guys in the chat, because I saw that there were a couple other messages in there. But we don't have a lot of a sample size here for both of these guys. So we're going to kind of talk about what we've seen on tape and go through their fight histories here, see what kind of strength of schedule they fought outside of the UFC, and what I've seen personally on tape from both of these guys. We got Lucas Olzawi in the room saying, I only like 2 fights on card, maybe change my mind after watching breakdowns. Yeah, this is a hard one, Lucas. This is a very difficult betting card, in my opinion. And we talked about it, DFS by the Numbers and I, on Stat Diggers on Pub Sports Radio on Sunday night. The link to that show is also in the description of this video, as is the spreadsheet with the statistics for all 11 fights on the UFC Vegas 46 card. You can download that for free in the description of this video. But yeah, this is a very difficult card to gamble on, in my opinion. A lot of closely lined fights, a lot of guys that we haven't seen a lot of in the UFC thus far, some guys making their debut. So, it's a kind of a good way to start off the year, because we don't have to get neck deep into the pool. We can kind of start off slow, not necessarily put a lot of money on these fights, but watch them, enjoy them, get lathered up in 2022, and then kind of start to shoot our shot when we see some opportunities that present themselves that have a little more edge against the books, because I'm not seeing that much this week. And then, not to mention, a lot of these lines came out a while ago. The sharps have been all over them for a couple of weeks now, so we might be a little bit late to the party in finding some value on these lines. And that's why I always like to do my show as early as in the week as possible, so I can have the most amount of information. I can have the props out, but hopefully we can get to some of these lines a little bit before some of the more casual gamblers do. But this is going to be one of those fights. Borshchev is one of the bigger favorites on this card. He is a very fun striker to watch. And I think a lot of people think that if he keeps this fight standing, it should be a pretty easy win for him, because he does have next level striking. And Bush is just a really good all-around mixed martial artist. We didn't get to see the best Dakota Harry Bush at his UFC debut. He only took that fight on 2 days' notice, you guys, against a guy like Austin Hubbard, who already had about 6 or 7 UFC fights going into that Bush fight, and a guy who trains at elevation and who has crazy cardio. So a really bad recipe to come in and fight somebody like Austin Hubbard on short notice, a guy who's never going to wilt, never going to get tired, and is going to put more pressure on as the fight goes on. And it didn't work out well for Bush. But like we say, we have to view that through the lens that he did take that fight on 2 days' notice against a guy with 6 UFC level fights. So we got to forgive him for that. And now that he's had a full camp in order to train for Borshchev, we should be expecting better things out of Dakota Bush. But let's look at the striking numbers that we saw from these guys. Dakota Bush had an entire fight in the UFC, a 15-minute fight with Hubbard. He landed 2.73 significant strikes per minute and absorbed 4.47. He showed a 39% striking accuracy, only a 41% striking defense. However, I believe that over half of that fight took place in control time positions. So I don't think that his stand-up striking defense was as bad as 41%, but he did absorb a lot of ground strikes in that fight. And then we see Borshchev in about a 6-minute fight, land 7.5 significant strikes per minute and absorbed 6.5. He threw 11.16 per minute, and his opponent, Chris Duncan, threw 14.45. Very accurate at 67%. He landed a knockdown in only 41 significant strikes landed. That panned out to 2.74 knockdowns for 15 minutes, and he was not knocked down in that fight. So Borshchev is a very talented kickboxer. That is his background. He is a bit of a specialist. Like we mentioned, he only has a 2-year and 7-month mixed martial arts career to his credit, you guys. So we know that Borshchev is somebody that's going to have trouble keeping the fight standing. He's been taken down in basically every pro fight that he's had thus far, or at least all the ones that I've watched. And I think I've seen all of them. So we did see here, I will get this off the screen. This particular fight here against the anabolic Arab Ali Zebian, he was taken down a number of different times, but Zebian was just trying to hold him up against the cage. Borshchev kept getting up over and over and over again, and definitely won that fight easily, I thought. But Zebian did amass a lot of control time in that fight. The Starks fight, he lost that one by split decision. He did more damage on the feet, but William Starks controlled a lot of it in clinch and also on the ground. Corey Delaney, he won that fight at 131 of the first round via ground and pound. And we can see this one here. It's available on YouTube. And you can kind of just see the finish right here, how Borshchev went about his business. He's on top of him. He's in half guard, and he's working him here. The guy taps out, and then we get to see the Russian dance, you guys. This is classic. This is top-notch dancing here. This is about a 10 out of 10. If I were a judge on Solid Gold, that would get 10 out of 10, and I will tell you why. I have attempted that dance before in the past and absolutely blew out my groin for the first time in my life. And this was as a young man in the prime of my life at the age of 20 that this happened. So, you don't want to attempt that dance ever unless you are in fantastic physical condition like Mr. Borshchev is. You want to leave that dance to the professionals, you guys. But I just wanted to show you that, to show you the level of class and the high-level striking that Viacheslav Borshchev does have in his arsenal, you guys. Now, let's see where we are. I'm going to get through some more of these let's continue to talk about the wins here. So that was the 1 minute and 31 of round 1 that he got that ground and pound knockout against Corey Delaney. At 4:41 of round 2, a win over Kenley St. Louis, who looked like a really athletic, well-rounded mixed martial artist. St. Louis got some takedowns on Borshchev, but he wasn't able to hold him there. And once that fight got back up to the feet, we saw him do his thing. And then the fight that you guys have probably all seen is the Contender Series win over Chris Duncan, where he was just absolutely blasting this dude on the feet. And we got to really get a good long look at Slava's stand-up and realize why this guy is in the UFC with only 6 professional fights. His stand-up, you guys, is absolutely next level. Can't wait to see him put it to work here against Dakota Bush. So now that we know that Viacheslav Borshchev is going to be by far the better striker here and by far the guy that with the much more well-trained striking pedigree, having over 200 kickboxing matches, it's very clear that Dakota Bush, when we watch the tape on his career, that he does have a very good wrestling game. He loves to go to it. And when he does get his opponent to the ground, loves to try to get to his back and finish the fights with rear naked chokes. We did see Dakota Bush on only 2 days' notice attempt 6 takedowns in his UFC debut. He was only successful on 1 of them, and I think he got about a minute and a half of control time from that 1 takedown in the 3rd round against Hubbard. So we do know that Dakota Bush, while he did stand for the entire 1st round with Hubbard, I think that having only taken that fight on 2 days' notice, Bush knew that he had to save his strength and try to, really kind of limit the takedown attempts, because if he just went out there and spammed takedown attempts, he would have gassed out after 1 round. And he was very tired after 1 round of this fight anyway, due to taking it on such short notice. But before we get further into Dakota Bush's previous history here, let's continue to talk to you guys in the chat. And Luke is saying, looking to hit first card with fire. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to hit all my bets, but I'm not going to be making a lot of bets, that's for sure. Not on this first card. There are a lot of landmines, in my opinion, a lot of closely lined fights, a lot of situations where I think we're still kind of waiting for some more information on the fighters that are going to be involved on this card. But appreciate you for hanging out, Lucas. Good to see you in here. And DFS by the number saying JP Bays versus Roman Dolidze announced for UFC 271. Oh, man, Brady. So if you guys haven't heard, I guess this came out earlier today. I was blindsided by it while Brady and I were doing the main event breakdown that we did on his YouTube channel earlier today. And I forgot who it was who came into the chat who kind of gave us access to the information that it's out there on the internet that potentially the reason that JP Bays and Cheyenne Vlismas are no longer married or no longer together is that Cheyenne might be cheating on JP Bays with one Roman Dolidze. So you can see what Brady's talking about in that comment, but yeah. So I'm not gonna comment on that anymore. These guys' lives are public enough. They don't need their Uncle Weezy chiming in with his 2 cents on this. I'm just going to leave you guys to make up your own jokes, or you could just enjoy the beauty that DFS by the numbers just share with us. Raw Torque saying, what's good, fellas? Good to see you in here, Raw Torque. Appreciate you hanging out with us. And the Hype saying, crazy, that Roman story. It is crazy, man. I just heard that today and I was blown away, dude. And evidently she's in Georgia with him now. So, yeah, some problems in the Bays of Vlismas household, but I don't have the whole story, so I'm going to leave it at that for you guys. DXJC saying, this is why we need open weight class fights. Yeah, JP is a flyweight and Roman Dolidze is a middleweight. As mad as JP Bays might be at Roman Dolidze, I don't think that would be a good matchup for him. DXJC saying, would be hysterical watching Dolidze knock JP down 52 times before dropping for a heel hook. Yeah, Roman Dolidze not known for that great fight IQ, and I mean, maybe not great IQ in general, fucking around with other guys' wives, but I don't know, man. It's none of my damn business. DXJC though, big ups. That was a fantastic comment. And DFS saying, this is a fun card from a fan perspective, but man, do a lot of these fights feel like traps? Yeah, you and I are absolutely on the same page there, Brady. And Chris saying, like that headliner, LOL. Stylistically should be Giga, but the cardio and toughness of Calvin could be the trap. Yeah, absolutely, man. And Real Heart Fellowship saying, we just got here. Great to see you, Weezy. It's great to see you, Real Heart Fellowship. Thank you for hanging out on the Monday Night Balls Deep Breakdown here on my channel. Much appreciated. Solid gold, 10 out of 10. Yes, that's right, man, because that was a great dance. And the dance was better than the finish, says, yeah, it was. But, you know, it's good to see Slava getting a finish on the ground. It's showing that a guy with less than a 3-year MMA career and a really, really long kickboxing career isn't afraid to do work on the ground in a fight where there's something at stake. So, you know, we can see that Viacheslav is probably just going to be he's going to be improving his ground game and his wrestling and his get-up game, you know, with every fight that goes by. He's still only 31 years old. He's in the prime of his athletic career. So we could be seeing him definitely make some improvements here. And he's going to have to, because Viacheslav has been taken down in every fight that I've seen. And I've seen a lot of guys win minutes on the ground by being able to exploit that takedown defense of his. But the get-up game is there. And his ability to be able to threaten with submissions is getting a little bit better. And you know what's great about Borshchev, you guys, is the conditioning is there too. It's absolutely there. Even though his opponents are wrestling him and forcing him in uncomfortable situations that are new to him, his gas tank is absolutely holding up. And that is such a huge part of being successful early in your career. And Daz File saying, I'm betting Borshchev now that I've seen him dance. And Lucas saying, dancing Borshchev on my list parlay. And DFS saying, yeah, I feel like we need to factor that dance into our capping for sure. I'm telling you, Brady, I've tried that dance. Don't try it, man. I mean, like, you need to have really good core strength and leg strength in order to pull that off and make it look as good as Viacheslav did. So we do know just by seeing that dance that this guy is in phenomenal physical condition and that he's got great balance and rhythm as well. Part of being a great kickboxer. It's part of that footwork, baby. Footwork is so important. One of the reasons why Giga Chikadze has had such fantastic success thus far in the UFC. Really great, fancy footwork on all these guys, Borshchev and Chikadze. And the fancy footwork of Roman Dolidze, another lusty Georgian, in order to be able to get into the pants of Cheyenne Vlismas. My word. And then Rogue Strummer saying Borshchev, and then we eat Russian borscht soup afterwards, you guys. Yeah, you know, that wouldn't be that bad, dude. Borscht is not a bad thing. And we got Raw Torque saying Uncle Weezy's Solid Gold Dance Studio. First 10 students get a free Hugh Hefner smoking jackets. I love it, Raw Torque. Awesome. It sounds like a mismatch. It's true. And then the Dab Father in the room saying, Weezy, my guy, what up? What up, Dab Father? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, man. And Rogue Strummer laughing and saying too much, says Zero Miedo. Roman just looking for Harry. Oh my God, this is devolving from an actual breakdown of a fight to I mean, just dancing on the grave of the marriage of JP Bays and Cheyenne Vlismas. You guys, we have to be better than this. We have to be better than this. God. You guys are killing me. Davey Boy saying, great to be here. It's great to have you here, Davey. We got Raw Torque saying, Real Housewives of UFC, Days of Our Lives, MMA style. Man, that is a soap opera from my youth, man. And I guess it's still going. And Jeremiah saying, little guys never win, shaking my head. Hearing about that drama now, little guys never win. Chris saying, to be fair, Raw maybe buys bedroom. Yeah, maybe. And time can help Roman's cardio. Yes, it can. It definitely can. All right, you guys. So let's look into Dakota Bush's history here. And so he's got 3 losses and he's got 8 wins. Like we mentioned, his MMA career is more than twice as long as being a little bit around, or I'm sorry, 6 years for Bush and under 3 years for Borshchev. So the most recent loss to Austin Hubbard on 2 days' notice, but good on him for going the full 15 against a really tough, well-rounded Hubbard. And then we see a first round head kick and then punches on the ground finish against Austin Clem. A rear naked choke at 238 in the first round against Brian Del Rosario. I was just watching the Willis fight. Willis is a big dude. He was a lot bigger than Dakota Bush. And Dakota came out there early in that fight, shot a takedown, was not able to keep Jaleel down. And then Jaleel managed to control a lot of the fight after that, both on the fence and on the ground. He's bigger than Dakota Harry Bush. He was stronger than him, and he really wore on him for 3 rounds. And then we got another first round rear naked choke finish for in the Jordan Himman fight. And then we've got another rear naked choke finish here in the Patrick Rivera fight, this one with 11 seconds left in the 3rd round. He lost another wrestling-based decision to Bryce Logan. And then a first-round rear naked choke, a unanimous decision win, a split decision win over Chris Petty, and then first-round knockout 253. So we see 4 rear naked choke finishes for Dakota Bush. So it's pretty clear to me, at least, that if this fight stays standing for long, I would say that Viacheslav wins the fight 9.5 times out of 10, simply because he's just too good. I mean, you watch him, even as somebody that, you know, like I've never was a boxer or a striker. I mean, I took a little bit of karate when I was like this high. You know, I don't know anything about striking, you guys, in terms of the technical aspects, but we know what our eyes tell us. And you can just watch Borshchev. The footwork is fantastic. His hands are always up. He doesn't wind up and telegraph his strikes. They come straight down the pipe. They're accurate. He throws from a number of different angles. He uses all the techniques, all the weapons. So he's very good. And Bush is a solid striker in his own right. He hits hard. He's technically sound. The punches come straight as well. The kicks, you know, are accurate and heavy. But he just doesn't have the pedigree that Viacheslav does on the feet. So we do know that Dakota is going to have to go to that wrestling. And we've seen him go to the wrestling quite a bit when he feels that he's maybe a little bit overmatched on the feet against his opponents. So this is a striker versus grappler matchup. We can expect Dakota to shoot for takedowns. And we can also expect, as long as in the last few months, Viacheslav hasn't absolutely gotten way better with his takedown defense, that's going to take time. He's already 31 years old, so we can only see his ceiling getting so high for being able to wrestle at this level at the UFC. But the get-up game has been there. But Dakota's going to be trying takedowns and probably getting them. And it looks to me like his best path to victory, you guys, is going to be trying to get one of those rear naked chokes, getting him down. Maybe Borshchev gives up his back a little bit, trying to get to his feet, and we can see Dakota slip an arm underneath that chin and start to work for a finish. I really think that that's his best path here, because the one thing I haven't seen out of Dakota Bush is him use his wrestling in a George St. Pierre type of way, where you're taking your guy down and then you're holding him there for 4 minutes, and doing just enough not to get, stood up by the ref. That doesn't seem to be Dakota's game. Dakota's game seems to be, I'm going to take you down and I'm going to give you just enough room to try to let you think that you can get up, and then I'm going to try to get that arm underneath your chin and finish you with the choke. And I kind of see Dakota Bush's best path to victory being a submission in this one, because, I guess he could win a decision if he wins enough minutes on the ground. I just don't see him, accumulating that much control time in a 15-minute fight, especially against somebody that's as active as Borshchev, somebody that has as good of conditioning as Borshchev. And we do know that Borshchev's training a team alpha male. It's not like this guy doesn't know how to defend guillotine chokes and rear naked chokes. He's training with killers that are some of the, it's one of the best wrestling gyms in the country for MMA. So he's definitely at the right place to make the improvements that he needs to make in order to fight to his best win condition, which is keeping the fight on the feet, using that footwork to stay off the back of the cage so his opponents can't wrestle him as easily. And then just when he does get taken down, don't settle there. Don't play for submissions. Get feet on the hips or push the head down and try to get your hips out of there. Shrimp, get your back to the cage and stand back up. So I think that if Bush is going to be successful with the wrestling, it's not going to be with trying to keep that guy down for 15 minutes and win enough minutes on the ground to win a decision. I really think he's going to have to get this guy's neck in a scramble, because I haven't seen the control wrestling game out of Dakota Bush that I would need to see in order to make me feel like that was a big enough percentage chance of a path to victory for it to actually happen on Saturday. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Anaconda Bet saying first OI of 2022. Let's go. We actually had an OI last night because I did a balls deep breakdown right here on my channel last night for the TJ Brown Gabriel Benitez fight. So if you haven't checked that out, check that out on my channel. Anaconda Bet's good to see you in here, my man. One of the greats out there on YouTube. Check out their channel. He's always putting up some good UFC content. Thanks for hanging out. Much appreciated. And Raw Torque saying Team Alpha Male fighters have been trending upward as of late. They tend to have some good game plans and cardio. That being said, KO or decision looks good for Slava. Yeah, either one, KO or decision. And what's important is these guys don't get finished. 4 combined losses between the two of them. None of them have happened inside the distance. But let's get back real quick here, you guys. Let me get this comment so you guys can see the statistics. And we'll just look at the grappling statistics for both of these guys. We do see that Borshchev only successfully defended 1 of the 3 takedown attempts that Chris Duncan threw at him. And even in that 5.47 minute fight on 2 takedowns, Borshchev was controlled for a quarter of the fight, which would be about 1.6 minutes. So not bad, 0.8 minutes per takedown. You can win minutes on the ground against Borshchev. His takedown, his get-up game is very good. 75% of the fight took place standing. And if that, that's kind of like what I see Bush doing here is we can see that Bush was only taken down once by Austin Hubbard, but he was controlled for almost half the fight. So I think what happened was there was no control time in the first round of that fight. They stayed standing the entire time and just boxed. And then in the second round, Dakota tried some takedowns, and I think he was reversed on the takedown attempts, and he was controlled for 3 minutes in the second round and also 3 minutes in the third round. So it was almost half the fight that Dakota Bush spent on his back, and he didn't have the energy to get back up, having taken that fight on short notice. So, and it kind of, if we look at Bush's history, we can look at these other 2 losses against Jaleel Willis and Bryce Logan and see that's how he's lost fights. Dakota Bush is actually used to being the better striker, and also a very good wrestler that can finish fights on the ground. So this is going to be interesting because we've never seen Dakota Bush kind of go out there thinking I'm the worst striker here. He's usually the better striker. So we're going to see him potentially lose in a new way here, because the last three guys to beat him did it with ground control and stopping his takedown attempts and getting some takedowns of their own. And Dakota does have a hard time getting up off his back. Luckily for Dakota, he's not going to have to worry about Viacheslav doing that to him. He's going to have to worry about the stand-up of Viacheslav, and Dakota's going to want to be the wrestler winning minutes on the ground. He better come in with the same game plan that Jaleel Willis, Bryce Logan, and Austin Hubbard came in with against him. Win minutes on the ground and win a lot of minutes on the ground, because every minute that fight is on the ground, it's not on the feet, which is where Borshchev is going to be a whole hell of a lot better, you guys. Let's look at the strength of schedule numbers here. So if we look at the competition here for Dakota Harry Bush, we're going to see a lot of winning records here. Austin Hubbard 12-5, Austin Clem 4-1, Del Rosario 5-3, Jaleel Willis 9-2, Jordan Hinman 7-4, Patrick Rivera 2-1, Bryce Logan 8-2, Jose Martinez 7-2, CJ Hunter 3-3, Chris Petty 1-0, and Mateo Colazzo was making his debut when Dakota Harry Bush was making his debut. And then we also see, going back to 2013 here, an 8-fight amateur career as well, where he went 7-1. So definitely, he's definitely the more well-rounded mixed martial artist here is Dakota Bush. Viacheslav is definitely the better specialist here and going to be the way better striker. And when we look at the opponents of Borshchev on the regional scene here, we're going to see Chris Duncan was 7-0, Kenley St. Louis 3-3, Corey Delaney 2-2, William Starks 3-1, the anabolic Arab Ali Zebian 4-1, and I believe Zebian now is 9-2, or he's 7-2, and he's changed his nickname to VIP. And I want to say that I think that that's a huge mistake. I think the anabolic Arab was a way better nickname for Ali Zebian, but you know what? That's none of my damn business. He can call himself whatever he wants to call himself. And then prior to the Zebian fight, David Marquez 0-0. So both of these guys fought good regional scene competition, in my opinion. It just looks like Dakota's regional scene competition, there's a little bit more of it and a little bit more wins on the records of the guys that he's beating. Guys with 7, 8, 9 wins instead of 7, 3, 2, 3, 4. But neither one of them was fighting bums or getting cans and getting fed a bunch of guys to build up their record. They're both coming out of the chute here, fighting some really good competition because they're very good prospects. So I would give the strength of schedule edge though to Dakota Harry Bush here. And we can look at these names here, same ones that we just saw. So yeah, 3-2 in Dakota Bush's last 5. Borshchev is 4-1. And yeah, there's not much here in terms of the statistics for this one, you guys. But if you go back and you watch the tape, it clearly looks like a striker versus grappler matchup. Bush is going to have success on the ground, and Viacheslav is going to have success using wrestling in reverse, using his jiu-jitsu in reverse to keep the fight standing and to try to knock out Dakota Bush, or at least win a striking-based decision here. My pick is going to be Viacheslav Borshchev here. I was taking a very long look earlier, late last week, at Dakota Bush plus 170, but I just don't see him winning enough minutes on the ground. And Borshchev has, for a career kickboxer, I've seen enough of a sample size of the tape on Borshchev and seen him get taken down enough times by guys with decent ground games in order to be confident that, yes, he probably will get taken down like he was taken down twice in the Chris Duncan fight. But I do think that as the fight goes on, those takedown attempts will come a little more desperately. They'll be shot from a little further out with more urgency due to the fact that they Borshchev's opponent will realize, I do not want to be on the fight with these guys. So yeah, the pick, you guys, is going to be Viacheslav Borshchev. What are you guys thinking here? I do want to see that dance. I have to admit it, that I think that, part of me is saying that Borshchev is going to win enough minutes on the feet here to win this fight, because I really want to see that dance. But come on, man. Slava, Claus, and Harry Bush, a couple of the best nicknames in the game, a couple of really good prospects in a loaded lightweight division here, you guys. 11 fights for Bush, 6 for Borshchev, an under 3-year career for Borshchev, and under a 6-year career for Dakota Bush. Still Dakota Bush, only 27 years old. So, even though if he loses this fight, he'll be 8-4, still a pretty bright future for this guy, because he is fighting higher level competition and he is fighting close fights with some really good guys. So the pick is going to be Borshchev, but I think we're going to really see his wrestling game get tested here. And we're going to find out a little bit more about what we know about this guy's wrestling defense and get-up game and submission defense here. Because if they all hold up, and if that get-up game has the same kind of vigor that it had in all of his regional scene fights and in the Dana White Contender Series fight, I do see Viacheslav Borshchev winning this fight. And I'm going to say by decision. And Big Boy in the room saying, you don't know how good it feels to see you here, Weezy. You the GOAT. It feels damn good to see you here too, Big Boy. I appreciate you hanging out here on the Uncle Weezy channel on a Monday night at 10:45 p.m. Central Time. We're 41 minutes into this one, you guys. I think I'm going to leave it here. I've got a lot of work to do for you guys. We got to get all 11 fights taped, and I got to get notes on them so that I can give you a good show on Tuesday night, where we're going to be doing Just the Tip right here with me, your host, Uncle Weezy, 10 o'clock tomorrow night. We are going to be doing Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. And we were going to, since it's the first Just the Tip of 2022, I'm going to have a very special story time with Uncle Weezy for you guys. It's been too long since I got to tell you guys a good story, and I have got an absolute beauty from my college days teed up for story time with Uncle Weezy tomorrow night, right here on this channel, Just the Tip. Please join me. Thank you for spending your Monday night with me, breaking down this fantastic fight between Harry Bush and Slava Claus. And like I say, I will be back here tomorrow night. B is saying, love you, Weezy and the gang, dropping a comment, smashing the like. Let's make some money 2022. Great picture of my man, I think a 4th-degree black belt in judo, one Vladimir Putin there. I'm going to have to get caught up, wrong time zone. Enjoy the night, Windy City Weezy. I appreciate you stopping by, B. It's always much appreciated. And we got OKK saying Ramiz or McGee. I'm going to say McGee. I like McGee in that fight. There's a lot of reasons I do. And OKK, you can check in the description of this video. The link to Stat Diggers is there. There's timestamps in the comments for Stat Diggers. You can go right to the McGee Brahimaj breakdown that Brady and I did on Stat Diggers on Pub Sports Radio. Davey Boy saying thanks, Weezy. Thank you, Davey Boy. You guys, UFC Vegas 46 coming up this Saturday, the first UFC card in a month. Let's stack cashed tickets like flapjacks. God bless each and every one of you. And I will be right back here tomorrow night, 10 o'clock Central Time, for the very first Just the Tip of 2022. Smash that like on your way out. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do that. I'm so close to 1,000, and I have you guys to thank for that. We will see you guys tomorrow night. God bless, and we'll see you soon.